was a good ball that got him today, but he'll keep making balls look good when you play with a gap that you could park a caravan in.
At the end of day 4 in Wellington, it's time for Ask George. Hello, George. That probably wasn't the day that many people were expecting.
Wasn't it? I don't know. Kane Williamson was in. There was always a chance that could happen. And I think it set up the last day a treat. Look, it could be an absolute classic finish. I thought it was kind of gripping in its own way, but I accept I wasn't sitting up through the night in England.
Danny asks, if Stokes can't bowl this summer, could replacing Crawley as opener actually happen?
Yeah, it could. I think it's more likely than it was a couple of days ago. There are some whispers about that. Look, who knows about... They're not telling us everything about that troublesome knee. But if the people of Chennai are expecting to get 4 overs a game out of him, good luck.
What do you think his approach would be, opening the batting?
I hope it would bring the best out of him. I mean, I think he's got a very good technique. And I think he plays fast bowling as well as anybody in the side, literally as well as anybody. And so I think he has the basic game to do it. So then you're talking about temperament. And I think his best test innings have come when he's allowed himself some time to play himself in. You know, I think that Leeds innings, the 19 Leeds innings, came when he scored 3 in the first 75 balls or something. And he did something similar at Old Trafford not so long ago. So, you know, we've seen him play those sorts of classic innings. And I don't think he needs to make the statement sort of innings anymore, because I think this side know how he wants them to play, and I think they do it pretty naturally. So I think it could all come together and work really well. But hey, you need a left knee to be an opener too. And there are some legit worries about that. I don't know whether, you know, we don't know enough whether there is a surgical solution. I hear there is, but I don't know that for sure. You know, maybe now is the perfect time to have that operation and give himself time to recover before the Ashes. But it clearly isn't the perfect time financially. And who wouldn't want him? You know, he deserves all the rewards he gets. So it would be very sad if he missed out. But I don't know if there's an insurance solution. But look, he's clearly struggling.
Well, JWL comes in with a similar question. He asks, is it sort Stokes' knee out or play him as a batter for the Ashes? Are they the two options right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think we probably have to think of him as a batter going forward. I think that's where we are. I fear that's where we are. I'm really sorry that's the case, because he's been so good as a bowler, but I think that's probably it. And of course, it's not as simple as just, okay, he gets in the side as a batter. Sure he does. But the balance of the side changes. And we saw in this game that, you know, you've actually got 3 other seamers, 2 of them, you know, very fit, but also, you know, that there are some miles on the clock of those fellas. And you maybe have to change the balance of the side a bit. Maybe you need another all-rounder. You know, maybe Sam Curran comes back into contention. My worry is that they'll compromise with Ben Foakes. And I thought Ben Foakes was brilliant today. I thought he was crazily good. And I thought he played a part in 3 or 4 wickets. I just don't think England will be at the races today without Ben Foakes. So I hope that's not the compromise they try and make. I think that would be a real mistake.
Raspberry Juice asks, was 2 days off playing golf too much of a temptation?
I mean, trying to win a game quickly isn't such a bad quality. It could have gone differently. I don't think they bowled badly, you know. Kane Williamson was really good. So's Blundell. So I thought New Zealand just showed a lot of fight. The pitch flattened out a bit. England were a bit unlucky as well. I still don't think following on was an unreasonable decision. I really don't. I still think they'll win.
Ronaldo Matadine asks, where does Kane Williamson rank in terms of the best test batters and also the best batters of all time?
Oh, that's a good question. Hello, Ronaldo. Well, it's a really good question. He's not at his best, is he? He's just got a big 100. And I thought Blundell out-batted him, actually. I don't think that elbow's quite right. I'm not sure his form is, or his confidence is quite what it was. But that record is brilliant. I don't know. How do you compare people? He's a fantastic player. Not personally convinced he's a better player than Martin Crowe. but you can be a great batter and not be as good as Martin Crowe. And he's right up there with the best in the world at the moment. And he's had a fantastic career, and hopefully there's a fair bit more to come. I know that's a dull answer, but I don't love the comparison stuff, because how do you compare him to Viv Richards? I mean, anything I say, there's meanings, really. It's just words. They're brilliant in different ways.
JB asks, Zach Crawley looks like a broken man when it comes to his batting and devoid of all confidence. Is this the beginning of the end?
Well, I agree with the premise. I mean, I really like Zach Crawley. I for what it's worth, I think he's a nice fella. Not that is worth anything. And a really talented batter with great potential. But he looks like you could get him out all the time. He's had a really good long run at this, and it's time to park it for a bit. He needs to work on his game. He needs to work on his technique. I mean, it was a good ball that got him today, but he'll keep making balls look good when you play with a gap that you could park a caravan in. and he'll push at the ball, so he's got massive holes in his game on both sides of the bat. It's too easy to get him out. And I know he hits the ball sweetly. I know he hit one off his legs today, but I was thinking, that's a nice shot. But every test batter in the world would have hit it for 4. So I think it's time to, I say this respectfully and, with a lot of goodwill, I hope he goes back to Kent and gets bucket loads of runs. He's really capable of coming again. But I'm not sure that we're doing him any favours right now. It doesn't look good at all. So I would park it for now. Yeah, I think they're very, very wed to him, but I'm not sure they're doing him any favours.
Reese Benjamin asks, it's the same theme really. Was that Zach Crawley's last test match? Or do you think he'll...
I hope not. I think that would be a... Tragedy is a bit strong, isn't it? But in sort of cricketing terms, that'd be really sad. He's so talented. And there's a lot to like. But, Joe Root got dropped fairly early in his test career. And he talks about it being the making of him. If you remember at the end of that Ashes at 13, 14, I think, he got dropped for the final test, went away, scored a double 100 coming back against Sri Lanka. So it can work out. It's not a death sentence. So is it the last test of his career? I very much hope not. Is it his last test for now? I kind of hope so. But let's remember there are a few rounds of Championship cricket before the next game. And England may be struggling to raise a team, to be fair, for Ireland, because they don't want to bring people back too early from the IPL. So he's got another chance, possibly, but he'll have to start the county season looking much, much tighter.
Sushan asks, should England have rotated their seamers? With the Ashes tests so close together, surely the same 3 seamers won't play all 5 tests.
Well, no, but this was 2 tests, and they've now got 6 months off. But it's a fair question. I mean, should they, could they have brought in Potts and Stone? Sure. But it wasn't like they bowled badly. But yeah, I mean, it's a completely legitimate idea and question. They wanted to play. They said they were fine. It's not like they've let anyone down, But yeah, they'll have to rotate during the Ashes. It showed the absence of the 4th seamer, the seamer who could employ the short ball, maybe an extra bit of pace that Jofra or whoever else, Mark Wood presumably, could offer. There are a couple of questions about the attack, but we know that. I didn't think they did anything wrong. The wicket got pretty slow, and they were really, really good, determined batters.
And finally, JB asks, is that Jack Leach's best 5 for England?
No, I don't think so. I'm surprised you would ask that. But no, I thought he bowled much better on day 3 than day 4. I thought he bowled really quite well on day 3. And on day 4, I mean, we just spoke to him. He said he was tired. He bowled quite short. And then he ended with a few wickets right at the end. But I wouldn't say they flattered him, because Lord, if you bowl 60 overs, you deserve it. And it wasn't like he bowled many bad balls. But no, I think we've seen him bowl better. But it's nice that he got some reward for 60 overs. I mean, what did he have at one stage? Something like 2 for 150, and suddenly he's got 5 for 160. So that's kind of nice. He was getting some criticism after day 3. I thought it was very, very unfair. I think he's England's best option. And I thought, particularly on day 3, he bowled really quite well.